Oh yes, how's it going guys? It's your man JB, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a simple hinge jig which will make hanging doors really simple. We're going to make the jig, we're going to hang a door, so stay tuned and check it out. Now here's the doors that I'm going to hang in this doorway. Originally the door was just one and it used to open inwards, so because I've built my cloakroom, I want these doors to open outwards. So what I've done is I've cut them in half and I need to hang them both off each side of this door frame. So here are the hinges that came off the door. And of course, because I've cut it down in half, I need to put hinges on both sides. So I've got one set here, which will go into the existing slots that have been cut out on the doors. But what I needed to do was find some identical hinges, which I've got right here, which are exactly the same, completely the same. So these two are going to be cut out on the other side. So what I need to do is to create this jig in order to cut out the housing for these hinges. So the jig itself is going to be really simple to make, but what it's going to allow me to do is to use this flush trim router bit. And this particular flush trim router bit has the bearings above the cutter. So the bearings run around the jig while the cutter cuts out the housing. Okay, let's get started on the jig. I'm going to be making the jig out of this softwood, which is prepared all the way round so it's nice and smooth and straight. What I want to do to begin with is just mark a line where I'm going to trim this because I want the end to be nice and clean. What I'm going to do is have 100mm space here between the end of the jig and where the hinge is going to be cut out. That will allow me to have some substantial material to actually sit on the door when I use the jig. The next thing I need to do is to rip down this piece of softwood to exactly the same width as the depth or the width of the hinge leaf. So the next thing I'll do is just cut the piece I just ripped through the saw so I can put one piece here and one piece here. To attach these two pieces, I'm using mitre adhesive. Now what I don't want to do is to put this piece in here really tight because I want to allow a little bit of wiggle room. So what I'll do is just put a piece of cardboard between the hinge and this piece, so then I can push that right up and allow that to go off, and then when I take the cardboard out, it's got a little bit of play. There we go, that's perfect. What I need to do next is attach these two pieces to the front of the jig so it can actually sit in the correct position on the edge of the door. But I'm not going to be gluing these, I'm just going to screw them, and I'll show you why in just a little while. Okay, so I've brought in the two pieces of door, the one door that was cut in half, and I've marked the top of them so I know that they go together the right way. You'll notice that this one is the one with the hinges already cut out. So what I need to do is just to transfer the position from this one onto the other one, just so it all looks completely equal. So all I'm going to do is just mark the upper and lower part of the hinge on the door that hasn't got the housings. Before I get too carried away, I'm just going to mark on here very roughly where the hinge is going and what side of the door it needs to be, because I'll be in trouble if that goes on the wrong way. So with the door fixed to the bench here, what I can do is place my jig right over the edge of the door, line it up with that bottom mark where the other hinge starts. I can clamp it up. So I've set the depth of the router bit to go just below the edge of the door there. So it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. I'll do a little bit of the cut and then we'll keep checking it with the hinge. So that has only just touched it there. So I'm going to need to go down a fair bit more. Okay, we've got it. So that's absolutely flush now with the hinge. So we can go ahead and take the rest of the stock out. There we go, look at that. How lovely and neat that is. And that fits like an absolute dream in there. So all we need to do is just take out the corners here with a chisel. Look at that. Perfect. What we can do next is screw the hinges to the door. Any adjustment we might need to make can be done with the hinge on the door frame. So I'm just going to circle those holes there. Mark the center. Now traditionally the leaf with the 3 knuckles tends to hang from the wall, where you can see this leaf has only got these 2 knuckles. So this is usually the side that you fix to the door. That is beautiful. So now I've got the hinges on the door, I need to mark where I want the door to actually sit. So I've cut myself some wedges here, so I can just lift this up and get it to the right height that I want. So what I need to do is just mark the exact hinge position on the frame. Now here's the reason why I screwed the front of these on and not glue them, is because I've got this architrave on here, which means I'm not going to be able to get the jig in the right position. So if I take it off, I can then just use the jig as it is and put it straight on here. And what I'm going to do is actually throw some pins or nails in that to hold it, and I can easily fill them later. So I did decide to screw this in. I just thought it'd be easier then to get it off without damaging this too much. This has all got to be painted yet anyway, and once the doors are on, you're not going to see these holes, but of course I will fill them eventually. I'm just going to make a little cut here with the chisel, because that way, see, this is chipping or splitting. So if I just knock that there with the chisel, that should then stop that from splitting. Right, let's go again. So we just take the jig off. Take the corners out. And then look at that, that fits in there perfect. Okay, so next we'll mark where the holes are, but we're only going to drill one of these holes, because if it's not quite in the right position or we need to adjust it, then we can easily move the hole. But if you do all four, and then you can't really adjust it. So with the wedge at the bottom of the door, just at the right height, that allows me to get a screw in here. We won't do that up all the way just yet. We'll get the bottom one in. We can pull that one in all the way home and then finish off the top one. Okay, let's test it out. There we go, that is perfect. And that really does open up quite wide, which is brilliant. So I'm happy with the position of that one. So what we'll do, we get the rest of the screws in and then we're done. So as you can see, I've hung the other door exactly the same, very straightforward, very quick, very clean as well. Just looks absolutely brilliant, very professional. And I'm one step closer to finishing the cloakroom. So I've got to do a little bit of work on these doors, got to rub them down, got to put some edge on there, got to put some push-pull catches on there. So yeah, we're nearly there. But all thanks to a very simple, quickly made, effective jig. I mean, this took 5 to 10 minutes to make, but it does such a professional, clean job. So give it a go. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found it helpful and interesting. Give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and I'll see you on the next video.